Determine which character you feel can relate to the most as you watch their identities develop.
The character I can relate to the most, I would have to say, is Nick Carraway from F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. Now, he is a character relatively similar to me in stature. He is your average young male, middle class, living in the 1920s, which is relatively similar to me, except we were born almost a century apart. Now, this character, personality-wise, is also very similar to me, which allows more ease to relate to him. He is an honest character for the most part, and tends to view things from the sidelines and is not 100% involved in things, much like myself. He is a character who is rather polite compared to all the other characters, and is not as possessive as most of the others. He is very gentle and does not have as many extreme views as the others, such as Tom in his racism and Gatsby in his obsessions. However, he does have a rather questionable view, viewed now in today's society, of one of the minority characters, a Jewish man by the name of Wolfshem, which, to his defense, was a relatively common viewing of these people and would have been accepted as easily as many beliefs nowadays are accepted. It would be the same for him to discriminate as it would be for me to say that I like movies. It wasn't viewed upon as being morally wrong at the time, which you have to take into consideration when looking at characters. However, the views of Tom and his extreme white supremacism is a little more questionable, even for that time period. Now, another character who I viewed as being equal to myself would be George. However, I am not going to focus too much on him because of his actions in the later half of the book, where he locks up his wife for being adulterous and goes and murders somebody. Now, he did it all for love, which is rather honorable. However, the means of what he did and what he did was a little wrong. Now, the character also holds a relatively similar stature in the lower level of society, which I am. I'm no Bill Gates or anything. But he is very similar to me. He's very kind, sort of a nervous character who looks at his fellow peers with respect, especially his wife, who he cares for deeply, and is one of the only characters in this novel who actually loves anyone, and their love is not completely possessive, which makes him rather honorable and relatable to most modern viewers. Next.
Determine which character you feel the least connected to or with whom you would never see eye to eye.
Now, the character I would never see eye to eye with, or who is least relatable, would probably be Macbeth from William Shakespeare's play of the same title. Now, this character is a Scottish lord slash warrior slash general slash mass murderer who has a tragic flaw of being extremely ambitious, and after receiving a prophecy, goes out and kills most of the characters in this play. He does all of it to obtain power, which is something that I would not find myself doing, and I do not seek large amounts of power as much as he does. It'd be nice, to have some, but um, it's not necessary. Now, another character would be Tom Buchanan from The Great Gatsby, who is extremely racist and of high society, and is also adulterous. Now, it is hard to view him as an equal to myself because of his stature, but also because of his views. The first layer of that, the stature, he is of inherited wealth, old money as it's called, and is extremely rich, which is not what I am. You would, however, if you look at my family line, find some people of higher class and British hierarchy. However, myself, I relate a bit more to new money and the middle class slash the poor people in the book. Now, Tom's views I do not agree with, hence the not seeing eye to eye, and his behavior is not very nice, and just by me saying that shows how much I don't relate to him. He is rather ignorant and selfish and extremely possessive of his wife and also his mistress. He also is very showboaty, showing off all of his things, his big mansion. He stands there talking about his horses and stuff to Nick when he goes to visit for the first time. And he goes around town with his girl on his arm and going about and doing these things, which I would not do. I'm rather proud of some things I have, but I would not be showing it off. I wouldn't be showing any of my things off right at the door, standing there, being like, oh, have you seen my car? Or something like that. I'm not that kind of person. If the conversation were to lead to that, well, sure, I'd mention it, but it wouldn't be the most important thing, where it is for Tom. He is obsessed with wealth, similarly to Macbeth, who's obsessed with power, which power and wealth in these both books are relatively similar.